So I think that's all there is over that side. I will just take you over here, and again, this quadriaurita, gorgeous bronze foliage coming out all over the place. Really, really like this fern. I'll say this is definitely my favourite fern of the moment. It just produces, it does drink an awful lot of water. I did it last night, so it seems to be okay now. Just a really nice fern. There are not many ferns that catch my eye as much as that one. I really like the different colours on there. These are just like bracken style ferns. I don't even know if these are tropical ones. They just kind of came in the pots. You would expect, if they came in an orchid pot, you would expect they probably have, or at some point were tropical, because they'll have been in a tropical place, won't they? Possibly, or maybe they were grown over here, I don't know. I suppose the only way to find out is to take it outside and see if it dies in winter. Everyone wants to know what what a Cephalotus bloom looks like. Well, it's nothing spectacular. Well, those are the little flowers. These, I must say, the spikes haven't gone as tall as I expected them to. They can go several feet tall. Mine are only about a foot and a bit tall. Still got loads of blooms on Dendrobium cuthbertsonii hybrids. I must say, the hybrids, as you'd imagine, are a lot easier to look after than the Dendrobium cuthbertsonii species. And we've got some new canes coming at the bottom. That one's doing okay, despite the heat. Probably need a water, they're due for a water. My divisions looking very nice there, and they're about to bloom as well. What else have we got over here? So we have lovely Begonia doing okay. Now it just seems to have slowed down a bit with its growth, that one. Whether it needs a repot or not, it's a bit of a random leaf there dropped off from somewhere. Couple of blooms over on the Pinguiculas. See that one? That's like shooting out all these like random roots, like aerial roots. I've never seen that before. That's really strange. And it's also odd that it seemed both of them actually seem to have given up catching insects for a while. It's funny that like these leaves, it's like they can actually decide whether they want to be in like a fly catching state or not, and at the moment they don't seem to want to. It's not that there is a lack of flies coming in. I have these doors, like all week I've had the doors wide open, all the windows are open, and there are plenty of flies coming in, so I'm not quite sure why that is, but at the moment they've decided they're going to hang on a little while. That was definitely completely gone. I don't know why I'm leaving it there, but you never know, do you? You don't want to chuck it away just in case something pops up. I might leave it a little bit longer. Okay, so yeah, we'll move up. So this one up here, my Coelogyne speciosa. Oh, it's got a bloom on it. Didn't know that. It's kind of hidden there, see. Gosh, where did that come from? And there's another bloom there, bloom bud there. So that needs popping out. It's kind of got stuck and I can't do it with one finger. If I move it like that, and we just see if we can get it out there. There we go. We'll let it open up nicely. I think this one is a species too, and it's just so reliable and very, very tough, and the fact that it can be up in the roof behind all this glass and still survive and still thrive is testament to how useful it is to have in the greenhouse. It's not opened up properly yet. It's really good to have it hanging actually, because you get to look up at the blooms because they do kind of hang down. So let's just whiz through to the warmer side. Lots going on with the African violets, providing, I know they need deadheading, but providing a lovely kind of splash of colour at the moment. They are struggling a little bit with the humidity this week. You can see, you can tell with the leaves really, they don't really want to be wet all the time like this, and some of these blooms are, again, it's my fault really, because I've come in and I've watered it without really paying much attention to trying to keep it off the leaves, because I know it's not going to dry off. This massive cattleya is finally putting some decent growth on and some decent roots there. So that'll be really nice to get that to bloom, because I've only ever had that bloom once, and again it's 2 years old, so it's never re-bloomed for me. I've mentioned this Drosera regia, the king sundew, and it's actually seemed to have come back a little bit more. These looking a lot healthier since I changed the water. Yeah, understandable really. There's another one popped up there, looking a lot greener. So I just basically put some RO water in, which that's what they're supposed to have, but I just kind of got out of the habit of it. Plumeria are doing really well. They're looking really, really healthy at the moment. So I'm hoping I might get some blooms on them. Yep, this one is back into bloom, as always. It's a very, very reliable bloomer. You can tell why there's a volcano trick in the name, because it does look like an erupting volcano. So, Mandevilla's always looking good. Definitely solve the leaf problem, unless that was just the time of the year, but it seems to be happier in this pot now. Just changing the media every so often, adding a little bit of new stuff really does help. As many of us know, sometimes that can just be the game changer for you. Just change the media if all else fails, if it seems to be going south a little bit. So what else have we got over here that's worth looking at? So this Kohleria is finally, that's been in bloom for absolutely months, but the other one now is coming to its kind of major time of the year. They did both bloom at the same time originally, but that's lovely, isn't it? That is a real vivid colour. There is nothing on the camera there, there's no filter on it or anything, just like the other one. Get them both next to each other. There's nothing there I'm doing to it to change the colour of that. That's just what they're like. Again, if there are other hybrids, I might have a look to see if I can get something else there. Hippeastrum coming back, that was the Pickety. A couple of new begonias down here that you may not have seen. They're really nice, aren't they? That's really nice. I'm not sure which is my favourite. I like them both. One's something to do with snails. Let's have a look at that one. That one is green gecko. That might not be snails, it might have been gecko. There's an animal in it somewhere. And that one is Connie Boswell. Both beautiful begonias. You've seen the Nepenthes. That one doesn't actually have, so this was one of the intermediate stroke upper pitcher, but it doesn't have any liquid in it because I tipped it out by accident, so that's probably going to die off pretty soon, which is a shame. I'm not going to bother putting any liquid in, we discussed that. It'll just do its own thing. Getting lots of comments about this one, this silver lace. People seem to like this one. Again, ready for a repot really. It's kind of outgrown that one, but looking very, very nice. It is quite attractive one, that one. I like that one. And this one's suffering a bit through the fogger. I can see some of these leaves won't coming off. I have finally got some new shoots on these little leaf cuttings that we took, that Smar sent me, for these Saintpaulias. That one's getting a little bit of mildew on it. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 3 out of the 7 have got new leaves coming on them. So hopefully the others will do too soon. The Hoya's sending lots of new shoots out, but a few dead leaves too. I think that definitely needs a repot. It's just not happy at the moment. So what else have we got going on down here? Oh, this Boston Fern, look at the state of it now. It's not in a good mood. I think that probably needs a repot as well. There's something about it not quite right. Been in there a few years now. I think the only thing wrong with it that I can think of, it's getting heat and humidity. It's also been fed, and I think it's ready for a change. I think that just needs a bit of TLC really. Keep getting lots of questions on Zygopetalum. I can't say I'm like the world's expert on them for sure, but it's growing a new growth, and that's really all I can say about it. It's not dying, new growth, they're not rotting, and hopefully we will get a spike on it again this year. I certainly wouldn't say that is thriving at the moment. It's hanging on in there. Moving along. Begonia luxurians still looking fab. As long as I remember to water it, it's happy. It just needs to keep up with that watering, because it can very, very quickly flop if things don't go according to plan. These, what the heck are they? Tolumnias, yes, the Tolumnias putting new growth on. They're right near the fan here, which is a little bit of a worry. But there's loads of new roots, so I'll be very hopeful to get some spikes on that when the time comes. Oh yeah, new blooms on this one. That's quite nice, isn't it? These are really nicely scented. There's another spike coming out there. So again, it's like my brain's just shut off to names of plants. Neostylis Lou Sneery blue, which is white, because it's obviously, there's another one there. Yeah, there's another 2 spikes coming on that one. Bear in mind that I should really water this every day, and I don't. On the same with the Vanda up there, but the Vanda's never bloomed for me. If I give it more care, if I give it better care, then I think it would look better than it does at the moment. But these things are a matter of balance, aren't they? You've got to try and balance things. So I think we're getting to a point now where I need to do some kind of audit, reconciliation. So some kind of going through of all the different plants and see what I want to keep and what I want to get shut of, what I want more of, what needs repotting, that kind of thing, which is going to be impossible to do, to be honest, at this time of year because there's so much going on. But I can certainly start looking and start bearing it in mind as the summer goes on, because there are some things that are getting really big and some things that just aren't performing, and I need to decide. Like, for example, this Adenium obesum, it's just not happy here. It's never appeared to be happy here. It really needs somewhere dry. Yes, I get new shoots on it, but I keep getting these tips. I thought these tips were due, these yellow tips were due to it being too cold, which it may well have been when it was over in the cool side. That really is, it wants to be in somewhere like a conservatory. So again, we come to that problem of, do I move it outside and start dividing things? And I don't want to do that. I mean, dividing as in not keeping them all together, not dividing as in dividing a rhizome. Divide, just completely separating them out and putting them in places where they really want to go. And my goal was always to keep the greenhouse as the place where everything was and to provide the conditions in here. But of course, I can't grow everything. I can't grow succulents, alongside nepenthes, because one of them needs lots of aeration and ventilation and lower humidity, and one needs the exact opposite. So you can't do everything. I'm going to persist with the Plumeria, bearing in mind that they look so good at the moment. I think that corner looks really tropical, which was always my aim. So things like Mandevilla, I mean, yeah, it looks so nice here. I've flopped with another one, a different variety. I really need to think, do I want to try it again? Do I want to try it with a different variety, seeing as this one does so well? I'd like to, but I'm reluctant to spend when I know the last one didn't succeed. It's a dilemma that we've all got, isn't it, if we're growing things that we know don't like to grow. I mean, the same thing happens in the garden, doesn't it? You get things in the garden and you plonk them down, usually where you want them to go, not necessarily where they want to go. Again, things like this cattleya, it's never performed for me yet. However, there are signs that it may well do soon. I did repot this one over here. Because it looked horrendous and it had too much algae in it, and it's looking better now since I repotted it. I mean, as far as orchids go, I am getting some good growth on some of them. There's a nice new spike coming here on the Laelia anceps. Things are not horrendous with regards to orchids. Most of the orchids, in fact, all of the orchids that I've got in here are actually moving forward. I don't think any of them are going backwards. Even this Rossio glossum, which I thought was completely just taken over by some kind of bacterial infection, or the infection still seems to be there, but yeah, I've got 4 new growths on it. So it's okay. It's not, whatever it is that's causing those black spots, it's not preventing it from creating new growths for me. New growths over on the Kingianum now. I think it's Kingianum, could be delicatum. Again, same kind of thing, the spotting. Don't know what that is. If anybody knows, I'm sure somebody's got some thoughts on that. But 2 nice new big growths. Missed a year for blooming this year, as did the What's that one? Oncidessa Sweet Sugar. That missed a year of blooming, but I've got some nice new growths on it, so I expect that to bloom early next year. So things are coming. Even if I look back, what's that one called? Maxillaria. The Maxillaria back there, you just see it there. That's got a new growth on it, a couple of new growths on it. So that seems to be doing okay. It's surprising, well, perhaps it's not surprising, but summer seems to solve everything. All my problems, in relating to the plants, of course, not all my life problems, all my problems relating to the plants seem to go, or certainly ease quite a lot once summer comes. So it shows how much temperature and just getting some sunshine through the roof make such a difference. I mean, I think when you look at it all as a whole, the whole thing looks pretty good. I'll probably like a few more things dangling from the ceiling so that we've got like an upper story. But that is a real difficult place to grow, because obviously it's a lot hotter and it does get the sun like a little bit too much, and it's through the glass as well, isn't it? But things might present themselves, like the Drosera, for example. That's going to go up there. Notice this one, this Drosera, I have to like top it up daily to keep it hydrated, but it doesn't seem to mind the fact that it's high up and it's in the sun there. The fern over there, I know it's not a fern, it's what is it? Asparagus fern, that's it. I know it's not a fern. I keep it purposely quite small. I mean, that you can see, I don't know if you can tell, with the, like, it's bulging, the pot, it's absolutely ram-jam full. I mean, when I unpotted this, the roots are huge. They're like concrete. But it's probably ready for another repot. I've got a video on that. Everybody's interested. It does seem to do really well, that video. Not necessarily with subscribers, but with search. People seem to be searching for how to repot one of those. So I do have a video on there that does pretty well. That Streptocarpus looks really nice at the moment. That's looking fabulous. So that's where we're up to at the moment. So what I want to ask people, if anybody's made it so far, is if you were me and if you had this space here with all the plants that I've got, what would you do next? Would you buy more of one particular plant? Is there anything you can see in my collection that you would think, yeah, I want more of those? You definitely get more of those in this collection. Or are there some things that you would lose that you're fed up of looking at and me complaining about, like Miltoniopsis, for example, even though I love them? They just don't seem to want to grow for me, no matter what I do to them. What would you do next? Tricky question to answer. Doubt I'll get much in terms of response because I don't know how to answer it myself. But I'm definitely at that stage where I need a review, I think. So any thoughts on the matter are definitely most welcome. So I think we'll leave it at that for now and get back to trying to solve some problems in videos, which is really what I aim to do for the most part. I can't say I always solve them, but I offer possible solutions. Got some good stuff coming up, so give me a thumbs up if you think I'm doing a reasonable job. It all helps. And for now, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.